Hey, John here with the Blues Guitar Institute, and this is your Tuesday Blues, where we take cool acoustic blues concepts, we break them down into small bite-sized chunks so you can get this stuff into your playing as fast as possible. And today we're going to get right into it. This is a piggyback off of Tuesday Blues 188, the very last lesson, where we played a cool country pickin' little ditty in open A tuning. And a BGIer named BA reached out to me after that, and he said that, in his words, he said, I cheated a little bit. I tuned to open G and then put a capo on the second fret. You get the same place if you adjust for the capo, but the reason that he did it was that tuning strings 4, 3, and 2 up a whole step put a little too much tension on the guitar. And you know what? That's absolutely true for a lot of us. As a matter of fact, this guitar really takes that tuning up pretty well. So I didn't even really think about it when I shot that lesson. This one just kind of felt real nice, and it sounds really good and responds to that extra tension quite well. But I've got some other guitars that even my Larrivee OM9 that I play most often here on Tuesday Blues, it doesn't really like to be tuned up that well, and it makes me a little nervous as well, and I don't like to leave it with that extra tension on the guitar. So what a lot of players do, and what BA mentioned that he did, is that, you know, he's got a capo and he'll just tune to open G because strings are tuned down in open G. It's kind of the same exact tuning structure, but instead of tuning strings 4, 3, and 2 up, you tune the other strings down a step. So you've got D, G, D, G, B, and then D. So these two strings stay the same. But once you capo up, you basically have an open A tuning. If you've got a good solid capo, you can plop it right on there and hopefully the thing will stay in tune and it rings almost as if these were open strings, yet without that undue string tension. Now you will have to adjust because you won't be able to play on the same physical frets. You're going to have to count this as the new nut, and for last week's lick, which was played like this, here it is in open G. So notice I was at the 5th fret. Now we're going to capo up 2 frets, and so we're going to bring everything up 2 frets. So 5th then becomes the 7th fret, and now we're playing it back in open A. And another point that I want to make, because this is really, you know, it adds some flexibility to you as a guitar player, because there are a lot of old recordings. I think the one that I was working on recently that really got me into open A was Going Up the Country by Barbecue Bob. And it, to me, it sounds like he's tuned to open A, but then even capoed up a couple frets. So if you want to play and match the tuning of the record, at least the particular record that I was listening to, you're going to be up, you know, even above open A. So if you're tuned to open G, you're up 4 frets. If this wasn't open A, then you'd have a capo on the 2nd fret. I hope that makes sense. But the point is that this gives you a lot of flexibility. You can play an open G, which I love, and play a lot in open G. 2 frets up, you're in open A. But even beyond that, if you want to match some of the old recordings that may or may not be, you know, pitched, and they certainly weren't tuned using one of these things, right? So it was tune it up till it sounds good and go with it, hit record. You need to have this flexibility at your disposal. So again, we've got last week's little lesson example played in open A because I've got this capo to the 2nd fret. And of course, we can do the same thing in open G. You might even prefer it. All right, that's it for this lesson. Like I said, super quick tip. But if you're not already using a capo in your blues, then I highly suggest you run out and grab one, and go ahead and invest in one that's of a little bit higher quality. I'm not real sure what this one costs, but it's definitely not bottom of the line. This is a G7 capo, and I like it because it's super fast and easy to move around. But more than that, because when I play with it, it's got some really serious pressure, which helps to stay in tune. So a lot of capos, like the clamps and the bands, I would find myself putting them on, which is a struggle in some cases in and of itself, and then going through and having to do some minor tuning adjustments, only to then take the capo off and go back to whatever other tuning, and then having to readjust everything. So don't let that get in your way. Just go ahead and grab yourself a pretty good capo from the get-go, and it's really going to come in handy, and you can use the concept like BA mentioned in his email to me to view open A as really just open G capoed up 2 frets. That'll really help you out, especially if the string tension is a problem for you on your particular guitar. All right, definitely run back and check out Tuesday Blues number 188. It's got a cool vibe there, and maybe try it in open G. See how you like it? Try it in open G capoed up 2 frets, and just start experimenting with this. All right, that's it for this week. Until next week, be sure to practice smart and play on.